Now, a teenage boy has been sentenced today to a minimum of 16 years in prison for murdering 15-year-old Harvey Willgoose. Mohammed Umar Khan was named today after the judge lifted an anonymity order and was found guilty of stabbing Harvey at All Saints Catholic High School in Sheffield in February.
Running, screaming. Students scatter across the courtyard. Some duck behind walls. Others hide in cupboards. In the middle of it all, a 15-year-old boy lies bleeding on the concrete. His former friend stands over him, knife still in hand. Within 60 seconds, Harvey Willgoose will lose consciousness. He won't wake up. It's February 3rd, 2025. Just after midday, lunchtime at All Saints Catholic High School in Sheffield, England. Students mill around the courtyard, eating, talking, scrolling through phones. A normal Monday. Then CCTV captures something that will shatter this community forever. A Year 9 student named Mohammed Umar Khan approaches Harvey Willgoose near the center of the courtyard. The two boys stand face to face. They appear to exchange words. What happens next takes less than 10 seconds. Khan reaches into his clothing and pulls out a 13-centimeter serrated hunting knife, a blade he brought to school that morning with deliberate intent. He drives it into Harvey's chest, twice. The second blow severs a rib and pierces Harvey's heart. Pandemonium erupts. Students flee in every direction. Teachers rush toward the scene, desperately trying to restore order. Eventually, they convince Khan to drop the weapon. But for Harvey Willgoose, it's already too late. Paramedics arrive within minutes. Despite immediate attempts at resuscitation, Harvey is pronounced dead at the scene. He was 15 years old. Mohammed Umar Khan was also 15. Born in the UK to Pakistani parents, Khan attended the same Catholic school as Harvey. The two had been friends, close enough that the eventual betrayal Khan felt would become his justification for murder. But to understand what happened in that courtyard, you have to understand what was building inside Khan long before February 3rd. Police and prosecutors would later paint a disturbing picture. Khan had what investigators called an unhealthy obsession with weapons. His phone contained searches for zombie killer knives and combat blades. He'd photographed himself posing with knives and axes, images he shared to cultivate a tough image. In his own words, he wanted to show he was hard. He wanted people to fear him. To stay away, it's a mindset investigators see repeatedly in juvenile knife crime cases. The false belief that carrying a blade provides protection, that it grants status, that it makes you someone not to be messed with. In reality, it just makes tragedy inevitable. The path to murder began with something painfully ordinary, a social media dispute. In the days before the killing, Khan and Harvey had a falling out. The catalyst was a separate conflict between two other students that had escalated to the point where the school was briefly placed on lockdown on January 29th. Khan and Harvey took opposite sides. What should have been teenage drama, the kind that blows over in a week, festered in Khan's mind as a profound betrayal. His former friend had turned against him, sided with the enemy. For Khan, this was unforgivable. By the morning of February 3rd, Khan had made a decision. He packed a hunting knife into his school bag, a serrated blade measuring 13 centimeters, not a kitchen knife grabbed in a moment of rage, a weapon chosen with purpose. He carried it through the school gates, through security, into the building where children were supposed to be safe. And he waited for his moment. The courtyard footage is clinical in its horror. Khan approaches Harvey with apparent calm. The two exchange words, brief, unremarkable to anyone watching from a distance. Then the blade comes out. 2 strikes, both to the chest. Harvey staggers. Students nearby freeze, then scatter. The courtyard that seconds ago held normal teenage life now holds absolute chaos. Some students run for the buildings. Others crouch behind whatever cover they can find. A few hide in cupboards, terrified the violence might continue. Teachers converge on Khan. Their priority: get the knife away from him before anyone else gets hurt. Khan doesn't fight them. He lets the weapon drop. But Harvey is already on the ground, losing blood, losing consciousness. Within 60 seconds of being stabbed, he's unresponsive. Despite everything medical staff attempt, Harvey Willgoose dies where he fell. In the courtyard of his own school, surrounded by classmates who will carry that image forever. Harvey Willgoose was 15 years old, popular, energetic, fun-loving. That's how his school described him, the kind of kid who brought life to a room. He was close to his grandfather. The two had been building a summer house together in the months before Harvey's death, a project that bonded them across generations. Harvey's grandfather was battling cancer throughout the investigation and trial. He held on long enough to see knife arches installed in schools as a result of his family's campaigning. He died just days before Khan's sentencing. Harvey's mother, Caroline Willgoose, believes father and grandson are together now. "My dad has been having cancer treatment through the trial, and he just couldn't hold on anymore," she said outside court. "I do feel that he is with him." A mother's grief, a family shattered, a summer house that will never be finished. Khan's trial began at Sheffield Crown Court in October 2025. His defense centered on loss of control. He claimed he had snapped, that he couldn't remember what happened, that a history of bullying, racial abuse, and neglect at home had pushed him to a breaking point. He told jurors he hadn't intended to kill Harvey or cause serious harm. The prosecution rejected this entirely. They pointed to the weapon, not a knife grabbed in panic, but a hunting blade brought to school with premeditation. They highlighted his long-standing interest in weapons, his poses with knives and axes, his online searches for combat blades. He knew exactly what he was doing, prosecutors argued. He wanted to show he was hard. The jury agreed. Khan was convicted of murder and unlawful possession of a bladed article on school grounds. Mrs. Justice Naomi Ellenbogen delivered the sentence. Life detention at His Majesty's pleasure, the juvenile equivalent of life imprisonment. A minimum term of 16 years before any possibility of parole, reduced to 15 years and 106 days, accounting for time already served. Even then, there's no guarantee of release. Khan will remain on license for the rest of his life. The judge took an unusual step. She lifted the anonymity typically granted to juvenile offenders, allowing Khan to be named publicly. Her reasoning was direct. Knife crime and the circumstances of this case are of substantial public interest, she said. The public will wish to know the identity of those who commit such offenses in seeking to understand how it is a child of that age can do so. She addressed Khan directly. "You were the aggressor. You acted in hurt and anger at what you considered to be his betrayal of your friendship. This was a serious crime carried out by one pupil on another on school property with a knife you brought into school.
You had decided that, should the need as you saw it arise, you would use your knife on Harvey, a knife which, in your words, you had bought because it was scary."
For Caroline Willgoose, the verdict brought a measure of relief. "I feel like a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders," she said. But no sentence can undo what happened. No verdict can bring Harvey back. Detective Chief Inspector Andy Knowles, who led the investigation, reflected on the broader tragedy.
I think a lot of schools have reviewed their lockdown policies as a result. I think many schools have run lockdown drills, and I think it's just made people more aware that, although incredibly rare, this kind of situation can happen and it's better to be prepared for it.
A split-second decision that can never be taken back. Two 15-year-old boys stood in that courtyard. One is dead. The other will spend the next 15 years in detention, emerging as a man in his 30s with a murder conviction that will follow him forever.
It's always worth taking stock and looking if there were opportunities to learn and do things differently. You can't not immediately think about your own children, and that when you drop them off at school, you want them to be safe. You expect that you're going to see them safe at the end of the day. Harvey was denied that safe return home, and his family, suffered a devastating loss.
All Saints Catholic High School released a statement after sentencing. Harvey was a popular, energetic, and fun-loving pupil who is dearly missed every day by the whole school community. His family continues to campaign for knife arches and weapon screening in schools, fighting to ensure no other parent receives the call Caroline Willgoose received on February 3, 2025. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Juvenile Files for more documentaries.